What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
UFC Saint Petersburg, Russia just happened yesterday. It was a nice early card. I didn't get to watch it early. I waited until later in the afternoon to watch it, but it was nice being able to just go on to ESPN Plus and rewatch the main card. Of course, the prelims were on ESPN, so I couldn't watch those because I don't have cable. But that's okay. I heard there was some good fights in the prelim cards. The first four fights were all stoppages, KOs, TKOs, submissions. But the main card was fun as well. It started off, the main event. Let's start with the main event. My picks overall, I got 4 out of 5 correct. One of the fights that I had picked apparently didn't happen. So I forget the name of the person. I didn't write it down. But the main event was Alistair Overeem versus Olynyk. And I picked Olynyk to win it, the guy with the crazy Ezekiel chokes. I did because Overeem, it's hard to know. Sometimes Overeem comes in and doesn't look that great and can get caught. And he was looking good. Olynyk was looking good, landing a bunch of body shots. Kind of getting the clinch, kind of trying to throw up that Ezekiel over and over again. And there were some moments where I thought maybe I would get a perfect 5 for 5 picks, but then Overeem threw his giant knees and was able to finish the fight, as he's been known to do, finish fights. All in the first round. It was a fun first round. I really thought Olynyk had a chance. He's just like landing tons of body punches. Maybe not the hardest of body punches, but still working the body constantly. Like if he had survived that first round, maybe we would have seen Overeem get a little tired and Olynyk be able to sink in that Ezekiel choke, but didn't happen. Overeem won it. But all of my other picks I got right. Surprisingly, I was very surprised with some of these. Let me start. The co-main event, it was Makhachev versus Sarukian. Makhachev just dominant. I kind of wanted Sarukian to win because he was doing good. Like, he had good grappling, good wrestling, things that Makhachev was kind of the highly touted fighter, had more experience, was better at. But it was just an overall crazy grappling endeavor. But Makhachev was able to do more, especially in the last round. But he ended up getting the decision. Good fight for him. He weathered the storm, I guess, came through the adversity of fighting somebody else who had really good wrestling and was able to do more and win out in the long run, get the decision. The fight before that was Pavlovic, Sergey Pavlovic versus Marcelo Golm. I picked Pavlovic just because that was the name that felt right when I was guessing on those fights. This was in Russia, so, not super experienced with all of the... First off, the names, very hard to kind of remember. I am horrible with names in general, but when you start throwing in Russian names with the Russian spelling and the tongue twister and brain crasher, rebooter of their names and how they can affect my mental performance, it's going to be tough. If they become popular enough, I'll just remember their names. I'll get there. There's definitely a lot of them that I've remembered their names. So it's just, one of those things where it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger is just a name that you remember because he put out such good work over the years, was so, just so, he overcame the name. Let's put it that way. So Pavlovic wins it. It was a heavyweight fight. Big, strong punches. It was a first round finish. Just a giant of a man. Interesting. Always fun to see new heavyweights in the heavyweight division. It's one of those divisions where it can seem really light for a while, where you're just seeing a lot of the same guys fight each other. So it's always nice to see new blood come in, like Curtis Blades, Derek Lewis, so many others that I'm not thinking. I'm brain dumping on right now. But Pavlovic, definitely a giant guy. We'll see what he has. I don't know how well rounded he is, but he can throw heavy hands. The fight before that, Roxanne Modafferi, that was a fight that I had chosen for Roxanne. I'm a huge fan of hers, but one in which I did not 100% believe in my pick against Shevchenko's sister, Antonina Shevchenko. She's the one thing with this fight. I mean, it was emotional to watch. It was emotional to watch. I enjoy Roxanne. I enjoy people that want to put positivity out in the world, and she's somebody that puts positivity out in the world. She's a huge nerd, but very endearing. Antonina comes from good lineage, but not a whole lot of experience in the UFC. So I was hoping that Roxanne, not only with her experience fighting in the UFC, but also her and Calderwood, who trained together, they both seem to have turned a corner. Roxanne's boxing has gotten far better. Like, she put the pressure on Antonina, was able to get those grappling situations, get her down to the ground, was just constantly in control of that whole fight and would not let up on the pressure. And the game plan was amazing. Roxanne stood on the feet for the first round. She was, holding her own. Let's say that, holding her own on the feet. And once she was able to get close distance, get that clinch on the cage, she was able to work her game, get it to the ground, and a big win for Roxanne. I'm a huge fan of hers and so happy to see kind of this new chapter in her career and her fighting style. And I'm sure Shevchenko will go back to the drawing board and become extremely, and she'll probably kill everybody in that division. But I'm glad Roxanne got a win on her early. That was for the women's flyweight. Then we have the middleweight, the first fight of the main card, a middleweight fight between Krzysztof Jacko and Alan Amedovski. And Jacko is one of those up and downers, but I picked Jacko because out of the two names, he was the one I recognized. And he was somebody that, again, just out-wrestled, out-grappled, out-controlled the fight, just really put on really let his experience in the octagon show. And he got a good win, good unanimous decision. It was a split decision for Roxanne Modafferi, but I didn't think it was. I thought it was her all day. Antonina, she got a big pop when she was able to stand up from being on her back. She got a reversal, but it wasn't. She didn't really do anything in that fight. But Jacko wins it. Roxanne wins it. So a great fight card from Russia. Very happy with the results. Moving on to the next card for next week, it's UFC from Florida, headlined by Jacare Souza and Jack Hermanson. I've got Jack Hermanson on this. Souza is just old, and his chin's been tested, and I don't know where he's at as far as fatigue-wise, just overall. Hermanson's been on a tear, so I think I'm going to go with the upset. I have a feeling it would be an upset against Souza. So I'm going Hermanson for the main card. The co-main event is Greg Hardy versus Dmitry Smolvovlak. I got Greg Hardy. Aside from his illegal knee in his last fight, he's pretty dominant. Although he did seem to not look amazing. He did get a little bit tired, but he's getting better. I think he's getting better. And as far as athleticism, I think that's going to take him a long way. So if he can control his energy a bit more, I think he's going to be huge in the heavyweight division, despite his criminal past. Let's put it that way. But I got Greg Hardy in the heavyweight fight there for the co-main. Let me run through these real quick. I got Alex Oliveira. I got Perry over Oliveira. Tough one to choose, but I think Perry's going to kind of hit a new gear in this one and come through. I got Kutalaba over Teixeira. I just think Teixeira is old and his time is up. His time is up, bro. He's just taking so much damage. Up and down fighter. Who knows? I could be wrong. I got Lineker over Hendmayan. I got Roberts over Gifford. Those are my picks for UFC Florida. That's it for this episode. New episodes daily. Subscribe everywhere. Binge the full week over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder. Inspireddisorder.com for all of my work. At Ray Taylor from me. Have a great day, everybody. Peace out!